Boys. 5K complete. So yeah, we're gonna go through the recap here, and we'll talk about what's going on, how we did, blowing out my ankle in the first mile, and just what to anticipate going forward. So to start off with, 5K on Thanksgiving Day. It's pretty cool. Pretty fun time. Goal was 30 minutes. We ended up finishing about 36, 37. It was a fun time. Pretty even flat, a little incline here and there, but pretty much like a zero elevation change the whole time. Running around the downtown area that I live in, mostly on roads. Learned a couple things about 5Ks in that aspect. Obviously it's a little different because, you got your more casual crowd, right? These aren't like people aren't all there to run. Some people are there to walk. Some people are there just to chill, right? They're just there to have a good time with the family before they absolutely feast, which is, fair. But we learned that we got to just get in the front of the crowd. It started off pretty solid. Our first mile, we were like on pace. Zuno was my brother-in-law. We were on pace to do like a 25-minute mile or a 25-minute 5K, which, it's not insane necessarily, but we were pacing good. We were feeling good. And then when we were dodging and weaving through people around the end of the first mile, I ended up blowing my ankle on the because we're on the road. There's like the little flashers between the lanes in the middle of the road. I ended up nearly full rolling it on there, so I just took it easy. I think my brother-in-law finished around 25, 26 minutes. Andrew, he finished around 25, 26 minutes. I finished around 36, 37. So, a little disappointing to not quite get the time I wanted, but we had good pacing. And so usually, I've tweaked my wrist a little bit here or there, went with lifting and just powered through, sucked it up, took it an easy day, the next day after type deal and whatnot. The reason I didn't just power through, for one, it's cardio, so I allowed it to get to me a little mentally more. And for two, I full blew my ankle out 2 or 3 years ago in college. It was the same ankle. And when I mean blew my ankle out, I mean couldn't put any weight on it whatsoever for a month or two. Nearly fully destroyed my ankle just playing soccer with guys in college. And I had a similar feeling. Hindsight, I should if it was lifting, I would have just powered through and sucked it up. Since it was cardio, I let it get to me a little bit more. And just got a worse time than I was really hoping for. That's not an excuse. That's just kind of the reasoning that I made to myself in the time. And now looking back, I was like, man, I should have just powered through. Nothing was wrong with it. I'm totally healthy. I did a heavy leg day today. Leg pressing 7-8 plates. I don't know, whatever that is. 7-8 plates on each side. Plus some machines. I don't know, 800 pounds or so. So nothing's wrong with the ankle. I could have just powered through. Maybe I would have been, I had to, had a little bit of soreness that day for sure. But I definitely could have powered through and gotten the time I wanted. But that is what it is. So 36-minute 5K, while not ideal, not what I was hoping for, that's a hell of a lot better than a month ago. I do think I want to do, maybe not a formal one, but I want to build up and do one more in a month or two, maybe into December, into January. And really lock in and get a sub 30 minute, pushing 25 minute. I think it's doable. So as far as lifting goes, we'll touch on that very briefly. As far as lifting goes, we're chilling. We just finished up our 6-week program. This week we're kind of following the same one. Marco, I think, is going to get me a new program going next week, so we'll look forward to that. And that kind of caps off everything stayed consistent and went up. The diet's good. Everything's hitting me in the right ways. and I'm kind of getting ready to prep in to lock in on the macros and really start tracking again, and just really, really push for not some crazy insane physique, but just like a good health state going forward and getting that squared away again, recovering from Thanksgiving. I'll be traveling back home for the holidays and Christmas, so I'm sure I'll have a cheat week that week. But for the most part, though, we're just doing good. Looking forward, kind of transitioning into that, we have a new workout program. It's gonna be pretty similar, I'm assuming, mostly leg push or leg uppers, split, that kind of jazz. So coming up and what to expect moving forward now, just more running, of course, locking in on the just the routine and getting that cardio continue to be built up, because the cardio during the 5K was phenomenal. It was one of the few times where I was able to run and my heart rate didn't just explode and I couldn't keep up, cardiovascular wise. And my calves were feeling great. Like, I didn't get any calf tightness until after the fact, because I really gassed myself the last half mile to make sure I finished under 40 minutes, because I was not doing a 40-minute timer. That was not happening. So just things like that where things are looking good, and I want to continue to build on that and start building up that endurance. I'm at the point now where I think my legs are slowly catching up to me to where my endurance is going to start getting built up again, and it helps in the gym, it helps everywhere. So it's interesting to see the effects of that, where I have a faster recovery rate between sets in the gym, and I'm not so gasping for air, doing a heavy leg day or whatever else. I don't really feel that in the upper body part of it, but legs are just a little more full body demanding, even if you're doing isolated stuff. So just kind of looking forward to see how that continues to develop, focusing on building up that endurance and pushing forward. We'll attempt in the next couple weeks to get the GoPro strapped in and get just kind of like a little POV cooking type video in the background instead of the default running. We'll see if we can get that figured out. But for the most part, we're going to break down the macros. Keep in mind, this is just some random dude who's living day-to-day life. I'm no professional bodybuilder, no professional athlete of any kind. I just do this stuff because it makes me feel better as an individual, and it gets me, because my primary thing right now is I sit at my desk to do everything. So getting out and doing this stuff and eating healthy, it helps the body maintain that and stay high energy, because it's so easy to get sedentary and lose your health, your quality of health when you're at a desk all day. And it applies not just to me gaming on Twitch. It applies to finance, or if you're a software engineer or something too. It applies to that too, because at the end of the day, you get a lot of desk time. And if I don't have the liberty of having a standing desk at the current moment, so I don't have the ability to stand up every now and then. But even if you do, it still gets to you. So stay on top of those little small things, like going on a jog or hitting the gym pretty regularly, is it's gonna help you in the long run health wise. So yeah, we're gonna break down the macros starting next week. I'll do a full week of tracking. Probably the week following that. So next week we'll do a macro breakdown, and the week after that we'll do a kind of check-in of these are the things I'm eating to stay in line with those macros, and do a brief overtouch of the supplements I take. The supplements I take are literally creatine, a greens powder, and a freaking protein. Whey protein. So that's the extent. I don't do anything else. No crazy stuff. And my greens powder is pretty much a probiotic and a bunch of vitamins. So it gives you your vegetable intake, because I know I don't eat enough. Otherwise, yeah, we keep eating lean, clean meals. Probably going to slow down the wine and beer consumption as I start to lock in, because I had quite a few this past weekend, which is okay. It's good to relax and chill, especially on the holidays with people around. But I'll be locking back in and hitting it hard. Otherwise, though, that kind of wraps up our recap here. Um, you know, kind of going back to that time, 36 minutes isn't ideal. Really wanted to get that locked in down to about 30. So we got some room for improvement. And the next one, hopefully in the next week or month or two, it's going to be heavily focused on locking in and just powering through. You got to find that careful balance of I'm feeling a little bit of pain and strain, but that's just going to be part of running, right? Like similar to like when I first started working out. Your first arm day when you're like 16, 17 years old, you're hitting biceps and tries hard, you're feeling good. And then the next 2 days, you like can't move your arms because they're so sore and just dead. Gonna have to just lock in and power through that. Now, of course, with proper rest and everything, right? Like, I don't mean just locking in and just running to the extent of overdoing it and hurting myself, but on those moments, there's going to be the deciding ones where I've got to just lock in, power through, and get her done. So, looking forward to it. As far as continuing on the marathon prep, that's still the goal. We may see when we get closer to time, am I doing the full or am I doing the half? Right now, I'm locked in for the full. But yeah, we'll see when we get closer to time. Maybe I need to dial it back a little bit and do a half first and build up to that full. But right now, I think it's doable. But it's a big difference to go from 3.1 miles to 26.2 or whatever it is. So, we'll just, or 26.4 maybe. I can't remember exactly, but, big difference to jump up to that. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there, pretty much. Otherwise, we're just grinding. So next week, look forward to some macro breakdown, and we'll keep chugging along. I appreciate you, boys. We'll see you next week.